difficult series. The fact that he's obviously official first game today. I mean, do you look back and go, I still can't quite believe he did that?
Well, I can't really say I can't believe that he couldn't do it. I still look back and think about the distance that he went that day. We thought he'd give us a quality start. I mean, he's got great makeup, great demeanor. He'll compete. So we really thought that he would give us a great start. To sit here and tell you that, I really thought he'd throw a complete game. No, I didn't think that. But he was very, very impressive. But we felt like we put the right guy out there. But he did more than you could expect on that particular night. But we're glad to have him out there tomorrow, the first game of this series. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement, and you kind of need some guys that have been there before. They certainly have a lot of experience, and we're able to counter with Michael Roth.
I know you don't like to lose, but I remember last year in Omaha after the final game, talking to Witt and several of the guys, they all said that last year's loss here on Sunday to Clemson was sort of the kick in the pants that they needed. I think you guys had a pretty good record after that game. Just go back to that game, and what's what happened after that game to sort of unite the team and go on such a winning streak?
Well, I don't know. Certainly, the players always give you a pretty good barometer on how things go within the team. But the fact that we weren't very close that day in the third game of the series, they took us out behind the woodshed, and I don't think it's a case of feeling like we should have won necessarily, but feeling like this wasn't a good day. We've got to be a better team than that. We have to give ourselves an opportunity to win. And that particular day, we didn't do it. So you have to regroup, try to stay in position. Baseball's not a game that you win all the time. You want to win your share. You want to win a lot of games in the balance, but you want to put a team on the field that is capable of winning and can battle, throughout the contest. And that was not a good day for us.
All right. What does this series mean to you, especially since you and Jack have both been around for quite some time?
Well, it's I think that it's a sense of pride with the two programs in college baseball. It's an in-state rivalry. It's a big deal. But it's a national exposure game as well, a national series that I think we're very proud of. But, like has been said, a lot of good players, a lot of history, a lot of tradition, a lot of fan interest, television a couple of the days. And I made a comment earlier in the week that unlike maybe a lot of programs, our administration, our athletic director, our president, they've embraced baseball at both institutions. It makes for an opportunity for programs to excel, and we're enjoying that, and we have enjoyed it for many years.
Travis?
What do you like about what Roth has done in his first two starts? I think maybe there was some element of kind of winging it out there for him, but now that he knows it's his role, and especially the pitch on Friday, how do you think he's done?
I've been really impressed with him. I thought he would do a good job for us. It wasn't a case where necessarily we said, okay, let's toss Michael out there. He's been around a while, and he'll get us started here at the beginning of the year. We believed in the opportunity that he was going to get, and he would take advantage of it. He's actually done a little bit better than I expected. His fastball has been better, his velocity. He's been able to get his breaking ball in there, use both sides of the plate. He's been in a relief role his entire career other than just a handful of starts. So wasn't exactly sure, how it would unfold, although we had confidence in him. He seemed to have, it's only two starts, but he seemed to have thrived in the situation he's in right now.
Ray, after what happened out in Omaha between you and Clemson, is the intensity and the heat of this rivalry ratcheted up even more? Is it, or is that possible?
I don't know if it's possible. It's I've been here for 15 years. Coach Lake has been up there. This is 17 for him. It's always been a big deal, even when maybe both of our teams weren't as good as maybe right now we're both projected to be. But it's always a big deal. And I know that we've been on the national stage a couple of times, but it's exciting. It's great to be a part of it. I know the players are looking forward to it. Our fans are, and it's just great to be involved in this three-game set this weekend.
Coach, the first few games of the season, obviously you're undefeated, but there's been some troubles in the fifth inning, fourth inning. How are you addressing those thus far with all the runs you've given up?
I don't know that we're addressing them as part of the game. You're not gonna be unblemished. There's going to be some situations that come up. we've had the opportunities to lose a couple of the games probably out of the 7 that we've played, but we've been able to overcome a potential bad inning and limit it to a minimum amount of runs, and our pitchers have been able to rebound. We played good defense. But you know, you can lose, and we had some situations that could have gone in a bad way for us, but we were able to handle it and able to get a win. So this is a great series this weekend. They're extremely talented. They got great numbers in their 7 games, and we've got some good players as well.
Ray, you know your fans. You're familiar with Clemson fans from your time at NC State here. Can you imagine what it would be like if you and Jack had changed shoes, to be in Jack's shoes at this point after what happened out in Omaha? The second time in your tenure that happened. I mean, can you imagine what that would be like if it were you?
Well, you know, I think that, you know, when you've been in the game for as long as both of us have been in, you tend to understand perspective in a big way. I think you have great respect for each other, not only in this series, but the other coaches that we go against the entire year. And there's an understanding, I believe, as part of the respect. And, you know, we never want to lose, but you want to feel good about the way you go about it. And, you know, it's always been, I felt a first-class situation between the program, between the coaches, and it'll continue to be that way. Nobody likes to lose, and I'm not one of those guys that I get all that happy about when somebody else does lose. We're all in the same business, and you never want to see, you know, anybody, you know, in this profession, our colleagues. You don't enjoy other people losing, and certainly you don't want to be a part of it yourself. So to answer your question, I try not to think about things that aren't good. You know, I know that we're not going to go undefeated. We're going to lose, and I just hope that, you know, when that time comes, we pull up our bootstraps and try to get ready to play and be better for it. And I spoke to Coach Lee this morning. He lost the game last night, and I think you tend to talk to your closest friends when things aren't as good as you want them to be. So we analyzed the situation a little bit in his game last night, and we talked through it and wished each other well, and you move on.
Can you talk a little bit about the Sunday pitcher role? Why Stephen Neff or Adam, and what kind of pitch count would Neff be on? How can he bounce back?
I'll try to answer that question as best I can. When we started at the beginning of the year, I kind of had it in my mind, without even consulting with Coach Meyer so much, that it would probably end up being Stephen Neff as our 3rd guy. I thought that he would be just a little bit further along physically than maybe Westmoreland, although Westmoreland had made a nice comeback. I wanted to give Adam a little more time, maybe keep him in the middle of the week, and let things come together, let him grow, get better as he got opportunities to pitch. But as we started to open the season, I thought Westmoreland had been really impressive in the early going in our scrimmages. He'd been comfortable. He seemed to be making pitches. His velocity wasn't great, but he was doing fine. Neff was doing equally as well. Neff had been in the bullpen before. They were pretty close together at that point. I just sort of made a decision in conjunction with Coach Myers. Neff had been in the bullpen, Westmoreland not so much, so we'll go with Westmoreland and let Neff kind of back him up. And that's kind of where we are right now. Neff had a couple of appearances that weren't good. We needed to get him out there. We got him out there on Tuesday. He was impressive. I think he's certainly a candidate as we move forward. Whether he will be out there Sunday or not, Westmoreland is the probable, and Neff would back him up. But as we go forward, it's a possibility that they both will end up being starters.
Tim.
Who do you give the psychological edge to going into this thing? You guys for having the confidence from what you did last year, or them from maybe a motivation standpoint?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's one of those deals that after you play the game, the experts will analyze it and they'll determine what happened. But who knows? I know that we don't get too concerned with other teams. Now, we'll try to get good scouting reports, and we'll try to know tendencies, and we'll try to understand the pitcher we're facing and things like that. But more so than that, we try to be the team that we're capable of being, do the things we can do. play the game the right way, cut out the middle mistakes, let it come down to a physical game. And if you play well that day, you got a chance. If you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And we try not to look into it too deep. The emotional part usually backfires. If you try to do more than you're capable of doing, especially in our sport, it'll tend to take you in the wrong direction. So we'll try to not be a part of that as much as possible, even though it's exciting. We'll just try to concentrate on the things that we do well and try to execute.
All right. With that said, do you think your pitchers may have a little bit more work cut out for them because Clemson hitters are so patient?
Again, in hindsight, we'll see. Tomorrow, will Roth be able to make some pitches? Will he be able to hit some corners or get them off balance a little bit? They're very, very talented. There's no doubt about that. They got the majority of their players back. They lost Kyle Parker, Casey Harmon, a couple of guys, but they got so many guys returning with a lot of experience. We have some guys back as well. So who knows how it'll turn out? They're going to battle, and we're going to battle.
Ray, we talked about offensive production, and I know we're only 7 games into the season. You guys are averaging about 8 runs a game. Can you talk about where you think or how you assess your lineup and your offensive production at this point?
It is so early. I'm not sure numbers mean a heck of a lot right now. I had looked at their numbers a little bit today, and some of their outstanding players are off to slow starts. But one game will change all of that because you don't have that many at-bats right now. So I'm not sure how much stock you can put into statistics at this point. We both have played 7 games, and it's probably not going to be the way it is right now down the road. Your numbers are going to change, and you just hope that you play well at the right time.
Scott.
I guess Rawlings issued a press release last night saying that you get more involved with their company and using their product. Can I talk about why it's a decision to go from Easton to Rawlings?
I guess I'll try not to make this a long story, but I've been with Easton for a long time. The contract had expired. We were approached by some different companies, as it happens in this business, and our players really like the product from Rawlings, and we had a chance to experiment with it and use some of the other bats in the industry, and it really, to be honest with you, was a player's decision. Bats are important in what we do. We're using their gloves as well and a lot of other accessories, but it's an outstanding company, has been for many, many years, and so we made a decision to go with Rawlings for the next few years. And again, that was a player's decision. They were involved in that. I didn't make that decision solely, but in conjunction with our players.
This is the second year you guys are doing the 3-game series, is that right?
Yes.
Do you think with college baseball where it is right now, right around us, that this is the right way? Is this kind of reinforce you guys' decision?
Well, I liked it. It was only 1 year, and we start the second year tomorrow. I thought it was outstanding. Had a lot of merit, going to 3 different locations, a lot of interest, a lot of positives in it for me. Now, our administration certainly is involved. Kyle Young up at Clemson and Kevin O'Connell, our senior associate athletics director, and both ADs are involved and understand this series and what's involved. So certainly they'll make a decision as we move forward if they think it's good enough. But I've enjoyed it, and I think Coach Leggett has as well.
Ray, with the series, is there any talk about maybe trying to switch around the third, the neutral site location, maybe some other parks, or are you guys pretty comfortable with Greenville?
Well, we're very comfortable with Greenville because they've been so impressive in the job that they've done. Mike DeMaine, the general manager up there. But there has been some interest possibly in some other sites, some other cities that I don't think that we're certainly not opposed to. It's not a situation where we're saying only Greenville. There may be some other interest, and it may go that way in the future.
Anything else for Coach Tanner? All right. No, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll do players on the field.